Girl, you make me go so loco, loco, make me go crazy. We would make a beautiful baby.
Spread your wings and fly. Us as Dove Boys, we were meant to rise. Soar high. How are you, my beautiful people? Welcome to yet another episode of the Blue Block Podcast, brought to you in partnership with Dove Boys. As you know, this is a safe space where we can share, communicate, and chat about societal issues and psychological issues that affects us as human beings. I, as your host, Bradley, the white polar bear, flow colder than frost, hailing from the southwest of KE, all the way up in ELD. My job is to facilitate these conversations on the pod and to make sure that we reach a point of clarity through whatever topic. On a side note, the pod actually turns 1 today, so you can go ahead and blow out your candles in the name of Blue Block Podcast one day, growing exponentially, and the fruition of my vision coming to pass one day. Amen. Today we will be covering the expectations placed on African children by African parents. So I welcome you to sit back and enjoy. Whether you are juggling other activities, I invite you to turn this up and let's go about our business. Fiti.
Knock on wood, is you trying to date me? Is it? Yes,
The
is it?
saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. And by extension, pia tunaweza sema asiyefunzwa na mamaye hufunzwa na ulimwengu. Both of these sayings encompasses the concept of the community's influence on the upbringing of children. Although they are both from like different sides of the coin, moja iko attributed to when like a parent anakosa kufuli, do their duty as a parent and teach their children on how to conduct themselves in society. The other one, on the other hand, also touches on like the active role of the community in bringing up the child. In Africa, this is the common model that is used. Hapa ndo raising a child is a collective responsibility of the community. I mean, all your family members, your neighbors, your community elders took a part in actually raising you to the man or the woman that you are today. And that is why adi uende like Maju, you'll still feel a sense of belonging, even with Africans out there, because we have imparted you with the cultural like values of maintaining societal harmony. In us, to internalize principles of interdependence and mutual care. Our childhood was a time for us to go through learning, character building, and acquiring social and technical skills necessary for adulthood. But now we want to pivot into the more core expectations of parents, and most especially like African parents, those expectations that they have on their African children. And these expectations may run from cultural, academic, all the way to the roles and responsibilities that, their African children have to or must, in a sense, take up. So we will look at them systematically, zikifuatana hivo. Culturally, one of the cornerstones of African parenting is respect. To any African children, the most common currency that ye anajua is heshima. Lazima obey. Alifunzwa since he was young to honor his elders because he ilikuwa necessary, at least as he fall out of the family tradition. So he himself, he has to continue and maintain that societal harmony. And the only reason necessarily unge respect your elders was from the understanding that with age comes wisdom, understanding, and experience. I mean, the older the wiser, sindio? I'm sure sote tumekuwa tukisikia like statements kama don't talk when adults are talking, ama usiwahi jibizana na mtu mkubwa, especially around watoi, or even like when you and me were children. And these were just some of the discipline that was kind of passed down or instilled in us. Discipline in its own right, it's a very profound expression of love. I mean, I was able to show my my mom that I loved her by at least being disciplined and listening to each and every single word that angeniambia na nifuate. This was just for me to show that, to express love towards her in its own right. This form of guidance imesaidia watu wengi wa grow up to be very respectful, responsible and successful people of society, lakini the intense focus on not questioning respect. That type of version of respect, like you would never question anything that umeambiwa. Like, to an extent, this level of obedience inaweza misguide children to be silent and kinda grow up shy, afraid to speak up, ama hata like hawezi take risks in life juu he's super obedient, super disciplined. In a world that values qualities like effective communication, entrepreneurship, and leadership, these type of children don't stand a chance because hawezi like assert themselves. If your kid anajaribu kuexpress hayuko sawa, labda anakuwa bullied or abused, na wewe as the parents, the only thing you can do is yell, scream, ama umchape, this will lead them to question themselves and their own identity. Even though tunajua the intention is for the child to grow up akue disciplined and respectful, I think African parents lose the plot with their methods of enforcement, because the self-initiative ya mtoi to actually want to have those said principles in their life inakuwa suppressed. Globally, traits kama critical thinking and willingness to challenge norms are very, very beneficial for success. Speaking of success, academics and career aspirations have been at the center of it from the African perspective. I mean, as products of African parents, we understand the prioritization of academic excellence as a way to succeed na pia kupata financial stability for your future children. So, tukifikiria about the question, ukiwa mkubwa untakwa, many of us resorted to the traditional practices zenye tuliambiwa they actually make money, like medicine, engineering, or law. Those non-traditional careers, tuseme in the arts sector, sports and entertainment, hizo zilikuwa oftenly discouraged. If I had a penny for each and every time I was told that ngangana na masomo, kuimba itakupeleka mbali, I mean, I can't wait to prove wrong all those who look down upon me. Hata pia mimi ni hope on that trend ya mwalimu, hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Unfortunately, some can say and tell stories about their destructive parents, those who would actually go an extra mile to destroy all creative pursuits of their children. In their minds, wakozile are like, I'm saving him because, ikitu itaenda mahali, so let me save him from like disappointment, by destroying whatever makes him happy and all his creative endeavors. I mean, how should I grow up in such a household? I am sorry, and I really feel for you. Because of parental and societal pressure, us as children, we feel compelled to pursue careers that don't align with our own personal passions, resulting in us feeling like we are living someone else's dream. When we now incorporate that part of societal expectations, that reinforces the norm. And so us as a society will find ourselves resisting anything that goes against these norms. Norms that have been established. Kama in order to get a well-paying job, lazima ukue in careers kama engineering ama medicine. So the day utaona mtu kama mimi pursuing a career in music, it would become very, very hard for you to accept the idea that I will become successful from this, because here ilipi, if we suppress the diverse talents and creative pursuits of children, we may unknowingly stop the growth of new groundbreaking ideas, because you never know. Labda that Brayo mwenye ucheza hapo hivyo nje kwa estate is carrying inventions in his mind that would even outdo or even shock Elon Musk himself. We are letting ideas perish prematurely when parents limit their children's vision and creativity, all because of some heritage and ego. Coincidentally, this is a contributor to the economic stagnation in many African countries. I mean, most African countries are moving towards the tried and tested industries and professions, eventually flooding them and leading to jobless applicants who could have pursued their own creativity and maybe have ended up generating a whole new industry all in one. This is of high importance in driving economic growth, innovation, and cultural enrichment of our society. Even though I'm not gonna lie, there is a shift that is happening now culturally, especially by proven global successes of African talents. I mean, just to name a few, kuna Burna Boy, V.I.D.E.O, Wizkid, I mean, Trevor Noah, like, these are just few individuals that go a long way in proving that non-traditional paths can be legitimate and lucrative streams of income. I guess saindo Africa inaanza recognize how talent and education intersect each other, offering like a formula for success. Parents should foster environments that support children in exploring their passions and talents. I, for one, am grateful for my mom allowing me the space and freedom to pursue my creative endeavors. Even as a family unit in our African households, I am sure from a young age, there were those responsibilities that we had to assume, contributing to the overall well-being of the family unit. When we assumed those duties, they were vital for us to learn, grow, and develop social and technical skills necessary for us to be the responsible adults that we are now. I remember whining as a child, "Ai mom, hii kazi ni mingi, ama nimechoka." At that point, I didn't realize what she was trying to instill in me. Hizo maji zote nilikuwa nikivuta. Now is when I get to appreciate the diligence in my work. And for you, maybe it was cooking, washing dishes, sweeping, cleaning, laundry, or any other domestic chore. I know, especially for the female gender, those concepts of taking care of the elderly do bring out the nurturing aspect in them, shining through as they develop into grown women and mothers. All of these serves as an informal educational system for practical life skills and values of responsibility. Cause me najua, I would never have understood the concept of doing work wholeheartedly to my heart's content kama singepitia all that training. Now I can actually take pride in whatever I do. I'm more self-reliant. I can take up duties and contribute to my community. Being flexible, nazile expectations they place on their children. All this helps when a parent decides to embrace positive reinforcement. Like when your child ameosha vyombo, teme he or she has done like a chore of some sort, they get a point or a star. And depending on how many points they get during the whole month, this actually attributes to their eligibility of necessarily getting a prize at the end of the month. A parent must also lead by example. Don't be contradicting your own teachings with your own behaviors. Plus, it's also 2025. The trad educational is not the only path to success. Sometimes it just leads to monotony. Let the kids explore the skills and interests. Wanaweza jipata in fields like sports and entertainment. We ain't calling for the abandonment of tradition, but let the culture adapt because it's a new day. Let us nurture confident, emotionally intelligent, and empathetic individuals of society. It still takes a village, but now the role we are here to do is to actually mentor, especially in those non-traditional fields. We need to give guidance, mentor, and this becomes a very transformative, supporting growth. It's a collective effort, and we'll talk more. Fiti.
Girl, you make me go so loco, loco, make me go crazy. We would make a beautiful baby.